Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today at Railbookers for our weekly webinar with today the focus on some of the top destinations around the world to explore by train. What we've done is select 5 destinations that we think really offer a fantastic experience for exploring on a rail vacation. My name is Chris David. My role within Railbookers is the Vice President of Sales for Canada, and I'm guest hosting the presentation for you all today. Before we get started, let's just take a quick look at what we're going to be covering in today's webinar. First and foremost, some important things to know about traveling by train and the onboard experience with rail travel. The main focus, of course, today is those 5 destinations, the most popular destinations for us at Railbookers, with some fantastic opportunities for traveling by train. And we really are going to be taking a whistle-stop tour around the world in Europe and North America. Also, I'm going to be talking a lot to you this morning about customizing your rail vacation and how you can really personalize an independent trip by rail with Railbookers. And of course, top of mind for many travelers at this point in time is health and safety, and how the health measures in the coronavirus situation that we're in at the moment are being observed, and to allow for peace of mind and enable you to travel by rail with complete confidence. But before we get into all that, let's start with a quick introduction to our company. We are called the Yankee Leisure Group, a rail specialist tour operator, and we have 2 brands, Amtrak Vacations and Railbookers. In the US, our company has the honor of being the official tour operator for Amtrak. So all of the vacation packages that Amtrak operates into the US national parks and other highlight tourism destinations throughout the lower 40 US states, we are the exclusive partner and provider of all of those trips. Then we have our Railbookers brand, which covers train vacations all over the world. So when it comes to North America, to the US, to the lower 48 US states, it's all Amtrak Vacations. And then other destinations around the world, including Alaska, up here in Canada, where we work with Via Rail, and all the European countries, from Portugal to Poland, across the entire European continent, and indeed luxury trains and specialty trains around the world. We have packages and great vacation ideas within Railbookers covering all of those destinations. We have recently launched our new e-brochures for the 2021 and 2022 season. This year, in addition to our main brochure featuring worldwide independent rail vacations, we have specialized brochures where we've collected all of our luxury rail journeys, and as well as the cruise extension packages. At Railbookers, we really specialize in pre and post cruise extensions going beyond the river and ocean ports throughout Europe and other destinations, with some great opportunities to explore further inland on the rail networks, and all of that product is in our cruise extension brochure. We have also just relaunched our website, which is very exciting new development, and you'll find the new Railbookers website jam-packed with lots of fantastic new features, making it really easy to search by all kinds of different features and criteria. You can search by destination or by the type of train, luxury trains. Also, on our itineraries in the new website, you will find lots of hotel information, which is a fantastic new feature. Under each destination city, you can see the selection of 3, 4, and 5-star hotels available for you to book, to select in each one of the destinations, which is one of the great features with Railbookers, that ability to customize your hotel accommodation on each night of your trip, wherever you may be traveling worldwide. At Railbookers, we partner directly with all the rail companies around the world, which gives us access to all of that rail inventory, all of the the trips, the segments, as well as the timetables, schedules, and fares for all of these trains around the world, be it Trenitalia in Italy, Deutsche Bahn in Germany, Via Rail here in Canada, the Eurostar, all of the others shown on the screen, as well as many more. What that does, everybody, is provide total convenience for you, whether you're working independently to plan your trip or with a travel agent. We will be able to access those rail segments, really making any kind of train-related inquiry or trip that you're trying to plan absolutely seamless and easy. What's more, we have the ability to book 2 years in advance, which is very unique with rail travel, because typically those train companies have a very short ticketing window. That's kind of industry jargon, I suppose, meaning that you can only issue your rail tickets normally 60 or 90 days prior to your departure. And with Railbookers, through our insider access and partnerships with those train companies, we have the ability to do this all 2 years in advance, which represents a lot of convenience and a great benefit for you. Also, being an independent tour operator, we can book last minute. So whether it's today or the first quarter of 2023 that you're looking to travel, we will be able to sort you out, get your itinerary put together, and have you in destination enjoying the vacation of a lifetime. I should mention, a lot of the destinations we're going to be looking at today are currently off limits for American travelers because of the coronavirus restrictions on non-essential travel currently in place. So when it comes to Europe and some of the other destinations we're looking at today, we are looking ahead towards later this year in 2022 once things are returned to normal and those restrictions have been lifted. Bear in mind, however, at Railbookers, our sister brand is Amtrak Vacations, and there is a fantastic selection of domestic rail trips into the U.S. national parks, as I mentioned earlier, that are available for travel this summer in May, June, July, into the fall of 2021. So if you're interested in traveling this year and looking at domestic options, please give us a call at Amtrak Vacations. Some of the things that travelers love about rail vacations with Railbookers. First off, we're an expert supplier. So when you're planning any kind of travel by train, when you call Railbookers or have your travel agent call Railbookers on your behalf, they're talking to an expert who has access to all of that specialized train information, as well as the fares and the schedules to choose the best route and put the itinerary together. That ability to book far in advance or turn the booking around on a dime and do a last minute trip, another big advantage with us. Flexibility is the name of the game with Railbookers. All of our trips are completely customizable, and we can put together a trip for you literally wherever the train goes, anywhere around the world. A huge selection of different kinds of train trips to choose from, ranging from luxury rail, which we'll be looking at some of that today, to rail-based independent vacations in destinations worldwide. And really, when it comes to the train, there's nothing too complicated for Railbookers. It may be, what's difficult for others is easy for us because that's our focus and that's what we're set up to do. We have offices around the world as well at Railbookers. So when you travel on a vacation with us, you have the peace of mind of knowing that we've got your back, we've got you covered with 24-hour emergency support in destination wherever you may be traveling. Just some of the ways that your trip can be customized with us. When you look at our website, you'll see lots of different itineraries. Bear in mind, those are not group trips or set departure dates. These are it's all independent travel, and so you can modify, you can amend or tweak any aspect of the itinerary, adding a destination into the trip, doing it as a round trip journey by connecting the start and end cities with an additional rail segment, doing them in reverse, upgrading the accommodation on board the train from economy to first class, or upgrading any of the tours that are featured within the itinerary. Also, and this is huge, the ability within your itinerary to choose on every day of the trip in every destination along the route between 3, 4, and 5-star options. So you can add that little bit of luxury here and there by selecting a 5-star resort property in 1 or 2 destinations along the route. We have at Railbookers also our maximum flexibility offer, which gives you peace of mind If you're concerned about what your options are in the event of having to cancel or reschedule your trip, which has been a familiar scenario for many people over the last 2 years during the COVID pandemic, what we've done is introduce this new cancellation policy whereby you can cancel 5 days prior to your departure. You then receive a credit valid for 2 years that can be used towards absolutely everything. Really, the name of the game here is total flexibility. You can put that credit towards any other trip in any destination, split it over multiple new reservations, or even transfer it if you decide that you no longer wish to or aren't able to travel within the 2-year period. You can transfer any of the funds on file with that credit to any other traveler. At the moment, everybody, we currently have a pick your perk promotion in the market. This gives you up to $500 per booking towards any kind of upgrade that you may choose, upgrading your rail accommodation, any of our hotels, even adding an additional night to your trip. Here you see the European Rail Network, which is quite a complicated picture, lots going on. Again, at Railbookers, no matter how many different segments or countries you're traveling through, we'll be able to sort out your rail travel with the greatest of ease and do it all instantly in real time with you or your travel agent on the phone. A little bit about what train travel is like during COVID, what the rail operators have done to make it safe. First off, social distancing has been facilitated by reducing capacity on the trains. All of these train companies are only booking, in many cases, at a 50% capacity, so every other seat is blocked off to ensure that there's lots of space on board. Other measures that have been taken, touchless processes for ticket control and payments on board for snacks and other things. In many cases, meal service has been curtailed or suspended. The trains are being sanitized on an ongoing basis, and mask wearing is required for passengers and staff in economy open seating carriages. Of course, if you're on an overnight train in a private compartment, then you can take off your mask, and that's one of the wonderful things about rail travel, is that ability on the overnight trains to have that total privacy. With all those preliminaries out of the way, everybody, let's dive in and take a look at some of the top 5 destinations to explore by train, starting with fabulous Alaska. We have lots of different itineraries at Railbookers featuring Alaska in varying durations. You can take a quick trip to Denali from Anchorage, or we have packages that feature many destinations along the Alaska Railroad route, such as our Grand Alaska Adventure. Here you're starting in Anchorage, you're taking a trip down to the coast at Seward to explore Kenai Fjords National Park. You're then going back up towards Denali with a stop in Talkeetna, 2 nights in Denali and 2 nights in Fairbanks. When traveling through Alaska by train, you're on Alaska Railroad, which is a very, very comfortable way to explore the state. Our itineraries in Alaska do typically include overnights in Anchorage. These are as your jumping off point, your base to go north up to Denali and south towards Seward. And Anchorage in and of itself is very interesting from a cultural perspective. It's the gateway to the north, lots of interesting attractions there to explore. On Alaska Railroad, you're traveling in great comfort. If you look on this picture towards the front of the train, in front of this couple, you'll notice that there are 2 different types of rail cars. There's the double-decker and single-decker, and just keep that in mind when we're talking about the classes of accommodation on board. Your adventure class, that's the standard economy seating on Alaska Railroad. That's the single-level rail car where you have large reclining seats, lots of legroom, big panoramic windows, and all the passengers have access to a glass-domed observation car with those panoramic windows. Your meals would be purchased on board and snacks not included in your rail fare. Then you have Gold Star service, where all the seats are under those glass dome panoramic windows on the top level of the double-decker rail car. Our trips in Alaska typically include a journey on the train down from Anchorage to Seward. That's the coastal classic route of the Alaska Railroad network. In Seward, you'll have an included excursion, magnificent journey cruising amongst the remote islands of Kenai Fjords National Park, getting up close and personal with all the marine wildlife. Again, here's the Gold Star service on the train. There's an included bar where your 2 included adult beverages are served. And again, your seating is under the panoramic windows, and down below is the restaurant car, the restaurant section of the rail car. In Gold Star service as well, you have commentary provided throughout the journey by the knowledgeable onboard guides, and your included meals are served on the lower level of that double-decker rail car. Talkeetna is a wonderful destination in Alaska. It's a quaint town, lots of atmosphere, lots of lovely microbreweries, restaurants, pubs to explore. And also, Talkeetna is located on the Susitna River, and fantastic adventures available there. In Talkeetna, you can opt for, you can take to an optional jet boat tour on the Susitna River, a wonderful way to explore the local wilderness in the shadow, as you can see there, of the mighty Mount Denali, formerly Mount McKinley, the tallest peak in North America, in the heart of Denali National Park. In Denali, we include on our trips a full day tour right into the heart of the national park. You're traveling 92 miles through the forests and tundra to see the wild rivers and glaciers, and you'll be sure during this trip to see lots of wildlife. With 39 species of mammals in Denali National Park, including the big 5, moose, caribou, Dall sheep, wolves, and of course, grizzly bears. In Fairbanks, take a stroll along the Chena River, visit one of the many art galleries filled with paintings and pottery, or check out some of the shops with Alaska native art and jewelry. Or if you're feeling adventurous, perhaps you can try kayaking or rafting on the river. Shorter trips available in Alaska as well. A new one that we've just introduced is the Denali National Park and Spencer Glacier with Alaska Railroad. Here again, you have your 3 nights in Anchorage, your trip up to Denali National Park, and you also have a trip from Anchorage down to the Spencer Glacier. Here you're traveling on Alaska Railroad's Glacier Discovery Train, where you'll go down to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, home to brown and black bears, moose, caribou, bison, and more. And then you will continue on to the Spencer Glacier Whistle Stop, where you will have an included tour. Your guide will meet you with raft and row you between icebergs with panoramic views of Spencer Glacier and the surrounding mountains as your backdrop. You'll then travel down the pristine Placer River with grand views of the mountains and hanging glaciers. So wonderful way to get up close and personal with those fantastic hanging glaciers on this magnificently scenic portion of the Alaska Railroad route between Anchorage and the Spencer Glacier. And then, of course, the main highlight will be in Denali National Park, where again, you'll have that full day sightseeing tour of the park included. Our next destination that we're featuring of our top 5 rail destinations worldwide is, of course, Switzerland. Switzerland, absolutely famous for rail travel, probably the premier rail destination in Europe and maybe all the world, with a fantastic network of rail routes traveling through the Swiss Alps, magnificent scenic journeys throughout the country. Again, at Railbookers, we have so many different itineraries featuring Switzerland, ranging in duration from 4 or 5 days right up to 2 weeks. The Grand Tour of Switzerland is your full Monty package. This is that blockbuster tour that includes all the iconic scenic rail trips, as well as overnight stays in some of Switzerland's most popular and most beautiful towns and cities like Lausanne, Interlaken, Zurich, Lucerne, Lugano, St. Moritz. Your Grand Tour of Switzerland is going to be starting in Zurich. Of course, here you'll have a chance to explore the Altstadt, the old town. Zurich is framed by Alpine mountains. Now, this is the it's the financial heart of Switzerland. And when you think of Zurich, you may think of it in those terms as a kind of a big city with lots of high-rise buildings and a CBD. When you go there, really, it's amazing to see how quaint it is. It really is a magnificent town, surrounded by mountains on a beautiful lake. This incredibly clean Limmat River that runs through the town, where the locals in the summertime, you see people swimming in the river on their lunch breaks. Really a fantastic atmosphere in Zurich. Cobblestone streets. From Zurich, you will head down on the train to Interlaken via Bern. The great thing with the Railbookers trips is the independence and how you can really do everything at your own pace. You can travel when you please from Zurich to Interlaken with lots of departures per day. Interlaken, of course, is situated between two lakes, how it gets its name, Lake Thun and Lake Brienz, and it's a charming alpine village. When in Interlaken, you'll have the opportunity to ride on the Jungfrau Railway. This is the cog train that goes to the top of Europe, the highest rail station in Europe at over 11,000 feet. The Swiss mountain cog trains are a fantastic, a thrilling experience, traveling at a very steep gradient by train to take you to the top of these iconic peaks like the Jungfrau. You'll also on this trip stay in Lausanne, Switzerland's fourth largest city and one of its most beautiful. Here you can spend time exploring the Gothic old town, including the stunning cathedral, and you will have an included cruise on Lake Geneva over to Evian, famous for its healing waters and spa resorts. Really, these cruises on the Swiss lakes are the best way to combine the city, lake, and mountains. Of course, in Lausanne, you can enjoy the local Swiss flavors. No trip to Switzerland would be complete without, of course, a cheese fondue. And when there, why not upgrade to 5-star accommodation? The Beau Rivage Palace is a magnificent 5-star resort on the shores of Lake Geneva. And again, with Railbookers, you can select on every night of your journey between those 3, 4, and 5-star options. So you can add a bit of luxury with a stay in an iconic property like the Beau Rivage Palace. You will also on this trip visit Zermatt and St. Moritz. Zermatt is in the shadow of the Matterhorn, and there you will have a trip on the Gornergrat cog train to the top of the Gornergrat, all along that journey with magnificent views of the Matterhorn. The Glacier Express is Switzerland's iconic scenic sightseeing train that runs between Zermatt and St. Moritz. A magnificent experience on board, aside from the scenery, which is just breathtaking. The whole onboard environment has been configured and designed with massive panoramic windows to enable you to experience in the best possible way the main attraction, which is that beautiful scenery. You can upgrade to excellence class on board this train, where you'll have an included 5-course gourmet meal. Of course, there's the bar at the back of the train, concierge service throughout, so that's a fantastic experience. And even if you choose for the economy seating, there's wonderful cuisine available for purchase on board the train. The other end of the Glacier Express train, which is an 8-hour journey from Zermatt, is St. Moritz. St. Moritz is known, of course, as one of Europe's most fashionable ski resorts, but beyond the slopes, it offers visitors plenty of attractions with more than 300 days of sunshine a year. It's a fabulous destination for cultural tourism and sightseeing, regardless of the season. Our itinerary also includes the Bernina Express, the sister train to Glacier Express, the other iconic sightseeing train in Switzerland, declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2008, traveling on a magnificent route between St. Moritz and the northern Italian town of Tirano. This is done as a round trip, so it's a wonderful day excursion there and back through the magnificent Swiss Alps. You'll also be staying overnight in Lugano, which is one of Switzerland's most beautiful and charming towns on the Italian border, with that wonderful combination of Swiss and Italian culture and cuisine. You'll enjoy a cruise on gorgeous Lake Lugano in the afternoon sunshine, an overnight stay in Lucerne as well, with its incredible chapel bridge, 600 years old, the oldest covered bridge in Europe, adorned with its beautiful frescoes. And in Lucerne, you will have a day excursion to the top of Mount Pilatus on the Mount Pilatus cog train, which is the steepest train journey in the world that travels at gradients of over 48 degrees. Remarkable if you're a train buff. And then At the end of that day excursion, you've gone up the mountain on the cog train. You will descend back down to Lucerne at the end of the day on the amazing gondola. Destination number 3 is Italy, another wonderful destination to explore by train. By the way, perfect as a cruise extension. If you are considering in summer 2022 a Mediterranean cruise starting or ending in Rome from the port of Civitavecchia, absolutely perfect to combine those med cruises with a land package exploring Italy by train. Lots of itineraries through Italy, but the one we want to focus on is the one that goes to Florence and the Amalfi Coast. This is a 12-night trip with 4 nights each in 3 of Italy's most popular and most spectacular destinations. Rome, of course, Florence, and the Amalfi Coast. In Rome, you'll have an included sightseeing tour of the Roman Forum and the Colosseum, staying in a centrally located hotel for 4 nights. And again, you can choose. We have 12 different properties on our website that you can peruse and look at their features and see lots of pictures. Those are your options to choose from when in Rome, ranging again between 3 and 5-star hotels. You also have an included skip the line tour of the Vatican Museum, St. Peter's Basilica, and the Sistine Chapel when you're in Rome. And of course, free time to explore at your leisure. No trip to Rome is complete without a stop at the Trevi Fountain to throw in some coins over your left shoulder to ensure that you will return to the city. You then travel from Rome up to Florence by train, just a short 2-hour train ride on the incredibly fast, convenient Trenitalia high-speed trains. You'll have 4 nights in Florence. So in addition to time to explore the city, included sightseeing. When in Florence, we have an included tour of the Uffizi Gallery. You'll get to see Botticelli's Birth of Venus, amongst other masterworks, located in the old offices of the Medici family when they controlled Tuscany. You'll also have you'll have free time, if you so choose, to arrange and book through us at Railbookers an excursion out into some of the other attractions and towns through Tuscany, such as San Gimignano, because of its towers, known as the Manhattan of medieval times. Then you will go from Florence by train down to the Amalfi Coast. The trip from Florence to Naples is an incredible 3 hours. When you look at a map of Italy and see how much of the country that actually covers, it's amazing to consider that you do that. It's over 450 kilometers and you do it in under 3 hours. So the trains in Italy, so fast, so convenient, such an incredibly comfortable way to travel through the country, and you're arriving right in the heart of your destination, so you can hit the ground running. From Naples, a quick train journey over to Sorrento, and there you'll have 4 nights to enjoy the incredible beauty of the Amalfi Coast. You can take a trip over to Capri or Ischia, the islands of the Bay of Naples, and of course, we include, when there, a guided tour throughout the Amalfi Coast. You'll enjoy over 40 miles of unparalleled views of the Mediterranean coast, as well as the small towns of Positano, Amalfi, and Ravello. Plenty of free time to explore at your own leisure as well. Our next destination is Scotland. You may not have thought of Scotland as a rail destination, but it is absolutely fantastic from that point of view. Scotland is home to the Belmont Royal Scotsman, a magnificent luxury train and the perfect way to explore all the highlights of the Scottish Highlands in total luxury. Our package on the Royal Scotsman, Scotland's classic splendors, starts in London with 3 nights there, with included sightseeing and chance to take in all the highlights. You're then traveling on the overnight train called the Caledonian Sleeper from London up to Edinburgh to commence your journey on the Belmont Royal Scotsman, a magnificent 5-star luxury train. These luxury trains are like a traveling 5-star hotel that take you throughout the destination. So you get to unpack, and your hotel, your magnificent accommodation, travels with you as you get to explore all the highlights of your destination. Again, you have those 3 days in London, a chance to take a day trip from London, perhaps to Bath, Oxford, Cambridge, or down to Stonehenge. You'll have 3 nights in Edinburgh as well to enjoy the castle, all the sights and highlights of the Scottish capital, and 3 nights on board the 5-star Belmont Royal Scotsman, traveling in total luxury through Scotland. Just check out the amenities and the environments and the lounge and dining cars and public cars on board the train. Decorated in the Georgian style of Edinburgh, magnificent cuisine featuring Scottish seafood, amongst other delicacies, beautifully appointed cabins and staterooms. You can choose between double, single, or twin cabins on board the Royal Scotsman, with all the amenities you could hope for. There are power outlets, there's air conditioning, full ensuite facilities with washroom and shower, and of course decorated in that Georgian style with the wood paneling and beautiful lounge and dining cars. It's a very social experience and lots of opportunities to get to know your fellow travelers, as well as wonderful off-train experiences on the luxury trains. You're stopping at castles with the opportunity to enjoy 9 holes of golf, included sightseeing, visits to whiskey distilleries, onboard entertainment from storytellers and musicians as well. So just a wonderful way to enjoy the highlights and appreciate the culture of Scotland. The last of our destinations to enjoy by train that we're looking at today is France. And here we're focusing on a short itinerary. This is a 5-day, 4-night trip with 2 nights in Paris and 2 nights in Bayeux to explore Normandy and have the opportunity to take in the Normandy beaches and the sites of interest from a World War II history perspective. So you'll have your 2 nights in Paris with a chance to take in the highlights there, a balance of free time to stroll the neighborhoods, the Montmartre, and as well as included sightseeing. Your sightseeing tour in Paris will take you into the Louvre to see the Mona Lisa, as well as a cruise on the Seine. And then you will head by train out to Normandy for a 2-night stay in the town of Bayeux. Bayeux is a beautiful medieval town, cobbled streets, half timber houses, a really lovely place to unwind with lots of traditional cafes and restaurants where you can enjoy the local delicacies. In the morning, you will have time to visit the Bayeux Tapestry, which is the 11th century tapestry depicting the Norman invasion of Britain in 1066. Very, very famous, and something that you absolutely shouldn't miss when you're in Normandy. In the afternoon, you embark on a private tour led by a passionate guide of some of the most important sites in America's history on the Normandy beaches. You'll go to Arromanches and Gold Beach, among other sites, before returning to Bayeux. And there's also the opportunity to extend your stay with a trip out to Mont Saint-Michel. So folks, hopefully that has given you some good ideas. That brings us to the end of our whistle-stop tour of the 5 top destinations to explore by train in 2022. Next week, by the way, just to give you a quick preview of our upcoming webinars, we're going to be doing a Rail Vacation 101, looking at the routes, accommodations, and services on trains around the world. And the week after, cruise extensions, a focus on the great packages connecting with the river and ocean ports across Europe. So hopefully today's presentation gave you some ideas, some food for thought about your next trip, whether you're going to be traveling domestically in 2021 or perhaps to one of the destinations we featured today. Alaska available to you, by the way, for 2021. Call us at Railbookers, and there's space available to get you on a trip even this summer traveling through Alaska. The other destinations in Europe that we looked at are going to be for next year, but hopefully you're going to be leaving us today with some new ideas and some inspiration for your upcoming travels. Remember the Pick Your Perk. You can get $500 toward an upgrade on any component of your vacation with the promotion that we currently have going. Folks, that brings us to the end. And with that, I'm going to open up the question box and see if there are any questions that have come in. If you do have questions, please go ahead and type them into the question panel on your GoToWebinar dashboard, and I will be happy to address those. I have a question here from Mary who's asking, do you folks only sell vacation packages, or can we book rail segments through you without any other components? Mary, thanks for that question. That's a good one. Our focus at Railbookers is on vacation packages. We are a tour operator specializing in rail transportation. Therefore, in Europe, we have a minimum requirement of one hotel segment and one rail journey for any booking through our company. So if you would like us to put together a custom rail itinerary for you going through multiple different European countries with lots of segments, we can absolutely do that working directly with you or your travel agent. However, all we need to kind of define or qualify that booking as a package is for you to include one hotel night, perhaps an airport hotel or a gateway property somewhere along the itinerary. So hopefully that answers your question. Yes, we can do the rail tickets for you. We just need one hotel somewhere along the itinerary. Okay. Mike is asking, if we book now for 2023, is the price guaranteed? Another great question, Mike, and thanks for bringing that up. Yes, if you, again, as I mentioned, you have the ability with Railbookers to book 2 years in advance, so you can make a booking now for the first quarter of 2023, and all we require is a deposit of $250 per person, which will lock in the rate for your trip, even if you're booking to travel 2 years in advance. So this is really something important to bear in mind and a great benefit. We're going to see things open up. There's enormous pent-up demand. I think every newspaper that you read talks about how travel is going to boom as we emerge from the coronavirus pandemic, and with that, prices are going to increase. So the ability to lock in now lock in the rate for your trip into 2022 and 2023 is a great opportunity for you to confirm today's rates and avoid the inevitable price increases we're going to see with the increased demand as things open up. So yes, $250 per person deposit, and that locks in the rate. That's a guaranteed rate. There are no surcharges, no possibility that that's going to increase as you get closer to the time of travel. So folks, thanks so much for joining us. If you have any questions or would like to inquire about any of the trips or the destination we talked about today, please give us a call at the 800 number you see on the screen, or give your travel agent a call to inquire on your behalf. Again, hope to see you on an upcoming webinar. Until then, please stay safe, take good care, and bye for now.